So I view it from my own background. I grew up on a farm where you are an entirely self-regulating safety body. There's nobody watching what's going on. And on a farm, it's child labor, right? I grew up as a kid on a farm with 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and we just did stuff. And you learn as you go, and you get a real practical sense of safety growing up. So that's kind of how the Russians view it, is that they have a really, more polished apprenticeship program than we do. And people stay in the same industry for decades. And you don't need nearly as many external safeguards when your lowest common denominator is higher. Because if you have the same people using that same equipment for a lot of years, they've already developed techniques that will work, and it doesn't need to be externally regulated on top of it. It doesn't always work, but it works in niches. And so that's kind of the way they've traditionally done it. Sort of like we traditionally did it here, up until maybe 2 generations ago, where we didn't have a lot of external regulation on it. But I was a fighter pilot in the military, where you have a 19-year-old doing critical work on your airplane that you're about to take flying. And in a case like that, you can't rely on individual expertise. You absolutely need multiple layers of externally regulated safeguards in order to keep the risk low enough that will keep a complicated vehicle flying repeatedly. And so I think generically your observation is sort of about right, in that the Russians kind of do things through a lot of inertia and the way they've always done it, and they do it quite well. Whereas the Americans build far more complicated vehicles, more exquisitely engineered vehicles, but as a result they require a much more heavy layer of external oversight in order to keep safe. The shuttle and the Soyuz are great examples. The shuttle was a far more capable vehicle, but even with all that level of oversight, we blew up 2 of them and killed 2 entire crews. It was really hard to do safely. The Soyuz is a much simpler vehicle, not nearly as capable as the shuttle, but the same guys have been cranking those out of the factory for a long time, and it's a really tough, simple, reliable vehicle that their system works right on. So there are strengths and weaknesses to both systems, but as you get more complex, then you need to have extra layers. And as your workforce changes, you need extra layers, I think, of risk management. That's my observation on both systems, and I've been deeply involved in both of them.